Yo, 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 welcome to Outta Pocket with RGIII, hosted by your boy and the lovely, amazing, 99-time All-American, Grete Griffin. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I just almost passed out. But we appreciate each and every one of you guys, all the Pocket Watchers out there. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you go find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe over there. Follow us. Leave some reviews. Leave some comments because we need every single one of you Pocket Watchers to help take this bad boy to the moon. So like I said, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. So what are you waiting for? Take the mouse, move it on over to the subscribe button and click, 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 click. Subscribe to our channel and let's get this thing rolling. Oh, like we always do, we're gonna get right to the thick of it, like Kyle Lowry. All right, so this episode is all about Angel Reese and the fact that Angel Reese clearly hates Caitlin Clark. Let's dive in. Guys, it's so obvious that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. If you don't know, let me inform you about what happened. Caitlin Clark committed a hard foul on Angel Reese as she was wide open for a free, easy layup. Routine play, the type of play that every single one of us, every one of you that's watching has heard your coach tell you, hey, we ain't gonna give them no easy points, no easy baskets, no easy baskets in the paint, baby. And then what do? You make sure that you go and you get a foul when you know that the offensive player has a free lane to the basket. Now, before I get to why Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark fully, let's talk about the play itself. The one thing people are not talking about on that play, which my wife so eloquently stated to me earlier, was that Caitlin Clark was actually reacting to a foul that should have been called on Angel Reese against Aaliyah Boston. Previously, when you see they cut off the play early, Angel Reese actually shoves Aaliyah Boston in the back to get a rebound. We've all played basketball. You know when you shove somebody in the back that the ref's gonna blow the whistle and call the foul? Well, the ref didn't call the foul. So Caitlin Clark is sitting there with her hands up like, you gonna call that? So then, yes, she went and fouled Angel Reese to prevent her from having the easy basket, but Caitlin Clark actually fouled Angel Reese because she was trying to take up for her teammate, Aaliyah Boston. So I don't know why no one's even talking about that, but I do know why they're talking about the aftermath of the foul, which, by the way, was a routine, you gotta make them earn it foul. It was not a flagrant foul with the intent to hurt somebody. And not only that, Angel Reese acted like she wanted to win an Oscar. I got nothing against any of these women's basketball players. They're all super talented. But if we're gonna talk about them, we have to talk about them like we talk about any other sport, like the NBA. When we see a guy flop, we call it out. Angel Reese flopped on that play. But let's go ahead and talk about a tweet that I put out that went absolutely nuclear. So after watching the play, I tweeted out, after watching Caitlin Clark's flagrant foul on Angel Reese and the aftermath, there is no way Angel Reese can continue the lie that she doesn't dislike Caitlin Clark. I know what hatred looks like. Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. Not some basketball rivalry hate either. Hate. The reason I said that is because when somebody that you don't like says something to you, you automatically always take it to the most extreme. You always automatically say, oh, they meant to harm me with that statement. But if your friend or somebody you're cool with made that very same statement, none of us would be so quick to run to judgment to say, oh, that was negative. We would question what it was. We would react differently. So why do I think Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark? It could be the fact that Aaliyah Boston had to save Angel Reese from ending her career. This is a still shot. After the foul that Caitlin Clark put on Angel Reese tried to hit her. But if it wasn't for Aaliyah Boston putting her arms in the way Angel Reese would not be playing basketball anymore because she was going to sucker punch Caitlin Clark. Now, you tell me a time when you've seen somebody get fouled on a basketball court in a professional league where they tried to almost sucker punch somebody that they were friends with because of a hard foul. I've seen LeBron James get fouled by Dwayne Wade, and they're buddies, but it was a hard foul. LeBron didn't get up and try to smack him upside the head or hit him in the face from behind. But that's what Angel Reese did to Caitlin Clark. So where was this type of reaction last year when Angel Reese got chokeslammed by Alyssa Thomas of the Connecticut Sun? Y'all remember that? She got fouled so hard, they kicked Aaliyah Thomas out the game with a flagrant 2 foul. What did Angel Reese do? Nothing. She didn't get up and try to swing on her. You know why? The reaction was different because of who did it. And there is a lot of history there with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. You guys remember last year when Angel Reese celebrated Kennedy Carter getting that flagrant foul on the hip check against Caitlin Clark? You remember that? On the sideline, just, yeah, baby, get her, you get her. Who celebrates like that for a flagrant foul on another player if they don't dislike that player? Okay, you want some more evidence? Here's some more evidence. Remember last year when they were talking about who gets the credit for the expansion and the eyeballs and the popularity boost of women's basketball? Not just the WNBA, but women's basketball in general, because of the spike in the women's NCAA tournament and WNBA viewership. A lot of people were attributing that to Caitlin Clark, and rightfully so. This is what Angel Reese had to say, and I quote, "People are talking about women's basketball. You never would think they'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to the games. We got celebrities coming to the games, sold out arenas just because of one single game. Just looking at that, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on to be that for my teammates. I know I'll go down in history. I'll look back in 20 years and be like, the reason we're watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too. I want y'all to realize that." Now, I heard a lot of people say that I or others have made Angel Reese the villain. Did you not just hear herself call herself the bad guy? She called herself the villain. I'm not making her the villain. She's making herself the villain. And guess who her eyes are on at all times? Caitlin Clark. There's an image from this opening game when Caitlin Clark hits a beautiful fadeaway three-pointer, and the camera pans to Angel Reese, and you would have thought she saw the devil. Scolding looking at Caitlin Clark, mad as hell. That's the look you give somebody that you like, that you have respect for. These are the kind of statements that you're making for someone that you like, that you have respect for. Okay, so then what happened when they asked her about that this year? Because it is true. Caitlin Clark has been the reason for the rise in viewership. But Angel Reese also has a hand in it, just not as big of a hand as Caitlin Clark. So a reporter asked her, "Hey, you made these comments last year. Can you comment on that now? What do you think what the outlook of women's sports and women's basketball looks like now?" You know what Angel Reese did? She said, "Next question." She refused to answer a question about something that she said about Caitlin Clark, not something that the reporter put into her vernacular, into her mouth, and made her seem like she said it. She said it. She wouldn't even answer the question about Caitlin Clark. That's something that you do towards someone that you like and respect? No, it creates this narrative that I, Angel Reese, do not like Caitlin Clark. I hate Caitlin Clark so much, I don't even want to answer a question about something that I said about Caitlin Clark. Don't make this out to be something that it's not. It was a normal basketball play. There was no malicious intent behind it. Didn't say anything to condemn Angel Reese about her behavior in the aftermath of that foul. Did Caitlin Clark condemn Kennedy Carter for her hip check when she got that flagrant against her last year? Nope. She actually defended Kennedy Carter and praised her for having such an amazing season and talked about how skilled of a basketball player she is and said she didn't need an apology for the foul. because it was part of basketball. It was a basketball play. What about after Angel Reese made the comments that Caitlin Clark wasn't the only one that grew the game? Caitlin Clark had her back. She said, "You're dang right. It's not just me. There's a lot of talented women in the WNBA." She had her back. What about when Angel Reese was only worried about getting the credit? Angel Reese is only worried about getting credit for the growth of the game, but Caitlin Clark is worried about winning. That's exactly what just happened in the season opener. That's why the Indiana Fever beat the Chicago Sky by 35 points. 35 points. Caitlin Clark had a triple-double, 20 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. Angel Reese is so worried about Caitlin Clark and who gets the credit that she got outperformed by Aaliyah Boston. Aaliyah Boston is a beast, and she outplayed Angel Reese in that game. So this is why I say that Angel Reese just needs to admit that she hates Caitlin Clark or dislikes her or whatever, or hates the fact that she gets all the credit. Just come out and say it. Because contrary to what other people believe, I actually think it's great for the WNBA. I grew up in a time when Michael Jordan was king in the NBA. And I remember from my dad and my uncles and them all talking to me about how much Michael Jordan hated Isaiah Thomas. Hated Isaiah Thomas. Right? He hated Isaiah Thomas so much that he kept him off the 1992 Olympic Dream Team. Charles Barkley himself has come out and said, yes, MJ did not want him on that team. Robbed that man of a gold medal, had that man crying on national TV during an interview 20, 30 years later about it. That's how much hatred they had inside. But they didn't keep it a secret. They let it be known that they hated each other. And guess what? Those Detroit Pistons and the bad boy persona made Michael Jordan the greatest of all time. It helped build the monster that Michael Jordan became. And guess what? Isaiah Thomas is a Hall of Famer who had an amazing career. And Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time. In this situation, Caitlin Clark is Michael Jordan and Angel Reese is Isaiah Thomas. There's nothing wrong with that. Angel Reese could go on to become a Hall of Famer and have a great career. But Caitlin Clark is on a trajectory to be the greatest of all time. And the greatest of all time needs that rivalry to not just grow themselves, but to grow the game of basketball. So I think Angel Reese should just come out and say it, you know? Let me ask you guys this. Who would you rather watch? Who would you rather watch play basketball? Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark? I'll wait. I think you'd all watch Caitlin Clark because she plays a more exciting brand of basketball. And it's okay to say what your eyes are seeing. Caitlin Clark with her three-point shooting, her playmaking ability, and her passing. She gets her whole team involved. She's not just out there scoring 50 points a game. That's more exciting than watching Angel Reese with her layup package, her post-up game, and getting rebounds. Angel Reese had a double-double in the opening game. I believe it was 13 points, 17 rebounds. It's okay to admit that that's not as exciting. I would rather watch Steph Curry and Kyrie Irving play than to watch Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan plays a boring style of basketball, but it's effective, and he's a Hall of Famer. And there's nothing wrong with that. So let's get to the real nitty-gritty of all this, because I don't like making these things about anything other than the sport. But there's a lot of people who are being disingenuous with their criticism or lack thereof, or their analysis or lack thereof of the situation because of the color of their skin. Some people will look at the color of my skin and say, oh, you aren't helping the cause, by pointing out that Angel Reese has clearly shown time and time again, I gave you all the examples, that she hates Caitlin Clark. It's okay to admit that. That doesn't mean that you're not down for the cause. What cause are we talking about here? I understand that Black women are some of the most marginalized of all time. But just because Angel Reese is black doesn't mean that black men and or black women cannot keep it 100 and say what is literally right in front of them, guys. Come on, man. She hates the girl. She won't ask questions about her. I mean, goodness gracious. We talk about the viewership numbers. She won't even give credit where credit is due. She has to sit there and say, it's me too. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, Angel Reese, that is not your job to say. Often, Michael Jordan, you ever listen to Michael Jordan? They ask him who's the greatest of all time. He says, it is not fair for me to say that I'm the greatest of all time because I got to respect the other eras. And guess what? Everybody else calls him the greatest of all time. Angel Reese, if you want people to say that you are part of the reason the game is rising, let them say it. You don't have to say it. But she's so hell-bent on letting people know that. It comes from a place of hatred and jealousy because she feels like she's not being included. All right? So when you talk about what Angel Reese, oh boy, knocking it over. When you talk about what Angel Reese is responsible for, I believe she's responsible for creating that rivalry that everyone wants to tune into. When these two teams play, everybody's tuned in, everybody's locked in. But she's also responsible for allowing and giving people an opportunity upon the racial divide to choose a side that they've always wanted to choose. Always, black or white. I don't like working in that. And I understand that it's the reality of life. And we live in a world that people choose sides based off the color of people's skin. Caitlin Clark is a sensational basketball player, guys. She's more skilled, more polished, more exciting than Angel Reese. But Angel Reese is a scrappy go-getter who's a double-double machine. She is. But that doesn't mean that her play is as exciting. It's not exciting of a brand of basketball as what Caitlin Clark plays. And it's okay to admit that. That is not marginalizing her. That is not putting her down. That is just saying what is right in front of your eyes. Angel Reese's popularity is embedded in the fact that she is the anti-Caitlin Clark. Angel Reese is always on scene. She's at the Met Gala. She's doing the model stuff and she's doing the brand activations. And Caitlin Clark is not. Caitlin Clark does some commercials. She goes on with Eli and Peyton for their simulcast and she does some things here and there, but she's not as out there and on scene as Angel Reese is. That's the facts. You can hear a baby girl in the back right here. She's saying, yeah, I believe you, daddy. You know, I'm a girl dad of 4. Kids love coming in here when we shoot these shows. So I got no problem with you guys hearing or seeing this because this is just life. This is reality. And our kids always want to be around us. But when I'm talking about Angel Reese, she can't act like people are making her the villain when she chose that role, okay? You can't play the victim when you're putting yourself in position to be analyzed as the villain with your behavior. Her reaction to that foul by Caitlin Clark was not the reaction of someone who understands this is basketball. This is competition. You just fouled my teammate. You got an open layup. I'm going to make you earn it and go get it from the free throw line. To get up and try to fight her and then tell her that she's crazy is so wild. So I just have to say, I am not responsible with my analysis. My analysis, I don't have to be responsible for the people who are demonizing Angel Reese for reasons outside of basketball. That is not my responsibility. My responsibility is to analyze what I see and use my experience as a player to understand the game. You talk about, oh, well, it's basketball. Yes, I was a Division I recruited basketball player offered by Florida after they won a national championship. Recruited by Baylor, recruited by Kansas, recruited by Oklahoma to play basketball. I know basketball. But this wasn't about basketball. This is about competing inside sports. And I will not shy away from calling a spade a spade. when I see it with my own eyes. I'm always gonna keep it real with you guys. I don't care what color you are. There is no bias on Outta Pocket with RG3. Angel Reese, just say you hate Caitlin Clark and the fact that she is getting all the credit for the expansion of women's basketball at the highest level. Don't tell us you respect her and then act disrespectful. This is one of the biggest one-sided beefs I've ever seen, because Angel Reese, every chance she gets, she's doing things to try to be the villain towards Caitlin Clark. And Caitlin Clark, every chance she gets, takes the high road and respects her opponent. It doesn't mean that when they compete, it doesn't get fiery, but it doesn't get personal. Angel Reese is making it personal every chance she gets, but it gets ratings. And you know what? Those ratings will be even better if Angel Reese just comes out and says it. I dislike Caitlin Clark. I hate Caitlin Clark. Her actions show that she does, and it's why everybody's tuned in. But at the end of the day, sometimes you just got to call a spade a spade. It doesn't matter what color you are. We are all open to see the observations, and when something is wrong, you call it wrong. Caitlin Clark made a hard foul, got called for a flagrant. Angel Reese's reaction after that showed exactly how she feels about Caitlin Clark, because the evidence has been sitting in front of us for the past 2 years. Appreciate you guys checking out Outta Pocket with RG3. As you notice, Grete wasn't able to talk on this episode. She actually lost her voice today because our daughter, 7-year-old Gloria, scored 20 points and had a triple-double with 20 points, 15 rebounds, and 10 blocks in a game with her team against a bunch of 10-year-old boys. Crazy. But she lost her voice, screaming and celebrating, because it's the most points Gloria has ever scored in the game. And it was a big breakthrough moment for her. So give a prayer out for Grete and her voice. Obviously, give a shout out to our daughter Gloria for going out there and scoring the most points she's ever scored against boys that are 3 years older than her. And once again, make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to Spotify, go to Apple Podcasts, like, subscribe, follow, leave reviews and comments, download the episodes, and help us take this thing to the moon, Pocket Watchers. We appreciate you guys. And always remember, God's got your back. Trust him on your journey, and I promise you, he will not let you down. We'll see you guys next time. Peace out.